All right, everybody, we are back. All right, so our next task is making the meatballs, okay? So for the meatballs, of course, we have ground beef, we have some Italian sausage, little garlic, onion, Italian seasoning, breadcrumbs, okay? A little milk, and one other thing is Parmesan cheese as well, too. Okay, so first thing we want to do before we get started is put your breadcrumbs into a bowl. Take the milk that you were given and moisten the breadcrumbs with some milk. Yeah, I just need a little spoon. And you want to just give this a little stir until all those breadcrumbs are moistened with milk, okay? And it will absorb all that milk. Now this is a half pint, okay? Which is 1 cup. I've added about 4 ounces so far. And I'm gonna add about another 1.5 ounces. So it will look initially like milk is pooling up, okay? But that's all going to get absorbed by the breadcrumbs, okay? Reserve any milk if it's a little dry, because when we're done, they should be soft, okay? Kind of soft and mushy. So just reserve the milk until we know we don't need any more. Okay, so I'm going to set that off to the side. And then while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and mince up some garlic. You've all seen me mince garlic before. So we're going to mince up a little garlic. Nice tiny pieces now, okay? Here we want nice small pieces because they're going to go into little tiny meatballs for the soup. So we want nice small size pieces. So normal. All right, that's good. Just gonna find a little knife. Just gonna make it a little easier to clean off with a knife. Okay, so we got our garlic. And we're gonna do the same thing with just a little bit of onion, okay? Just a little bit of onion. All right, there's our garlic and onion. So with the onion, I'm just going to come about 1/8 of an inch straight down, 1/8 of an inch, about the first 1/2 inch or so of that onion, nice and thin, as thin as you can get it, as a matter of fact, gentlemen, ladies. Okay. I know that camera angle, but those are thin slices. Okay. Then I'm going to turn it around and I'm going to go in the other direction. Okay. That's probably good. I don't want much more than that. Okay. And then I'm just going to kind of rock my knife back and forth, just to make sure that they're nice, tiny pieces. Okay. There we go. All right. Rinse off my hands. All right. So now our onion goes there. All right, there we go. So we have everything that we need. I want to check my breadcrumbs. To make sure that they are soft. Rinsing off a couple dishes. Okay, so want to make sure that the breadcrumbs are like soggy cereal. Okay, so nice and soggy, mushy. Okay, so when I kind of work it, it's gonna it'll form into a paste. That's what we want. Okay, so yes, we want something that looks like, you know, you forgot your bowl of cereal sitting on the counter, and you came back to it 20 minutes later, and it's just a soggy mess. All right, so that's what you want. Nice soft breadcrumbs. Okay, so to that, we have 2 Italian sausages. You're only going to use one for these meatballs. Now, they do come in a casing, so you want to cut the casing, so just use a small knife. Okay, and peel the casing off. There we go, and that'll go into our bowl. Okay, wash your hands. Sanitizer right there. All right, so 1 Italian sausage link and half the ground beef. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of eyeball half. There we go. The rest of the Italian sausage and the ground beef we can reserve for our lasagna or our pizzas. I'm going to just put those in the refrigerator. I'm not working with it. Okay, so we've got half of our ground beef. We've got 1 Italian sausage link. Okay, we're going to add our garlic. We're going to add our onions. Okay. And that was about a little less than 1/4 cup of onions. Okay, probably wasn't enough to fill up about half of one of these little containers. And then we're some Italian seasoning. So 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, put it in the palm of your hand, and then use your fingers to kind of break it up a little bit. Okay, and add that. Certainly you can add a little less if you'd like. Okay, that's up to you. Not everybody's a big fan of Italian seasoning, so certainly don't be afraid to use a little less or a little more. Okay, 1 teaspoon of pepper. Actually, only about half of that amount. I tossed out the rest. Half teaspoon of black pepper. And a little salt. About 1 teaspoon of salt, and then some Parmesan cheese. And I'm going to add a quarter of a cup of Parmesan cheese. Okay? Just like that. Then just going to get in and just start working that with my hands. Okay? Just work all that together. I know it'll look kind of weird at first. But just keep working it, working it, working it. Working. Okay. There we go. Okay. Just like that. If you have a pair of disposable gloves at home by chance, certainly you can wear them. All right. So that was a good, thorough mix. Okay. All right. Okay. There we go. All right. So once it's all mixed, that's what it's going to look like. Okay, like a meatloaf. All right. Let me wash my hands. then the next part will be forming them into meatballs. We'll just put all of our ingredients there for now. If you don't need the rest of your milk, you can drink it. And that's what I just did. Okay. Next part. Forming the meatballs. First, let's get trying to get a little, there we go. A little plastic. Okay. So I just laid a little bit of plastic down on my plate right there. Okay. And now I want to form these into meatballs. Okay. All right, so I have a spoon. I'm just going to take about a spoon's worth, roll it in my hands, and make a little meatball. Okay? Italian wedding soup, they use smaller meatballs. Okay? Now, you may find that the mixture may stick to your hands a little bit. If it does, just wet your hands with a little water. Okay, and that's what you hear in the background there. It's just my faucet running. So if I have to, I can just run my hands under the fountain, get them wet. Once I kind of determine what my size is, I don't longer need my spoon. And I'm just going to form those into spoon size meatballs. Okay, there's another. And another. Make them all roughly the same size. They don't have to be exact, but you want them close. Remember, they need to fit on a spoon, so that's the intention. Okay, notice they're starting to stick a little bit. So, let me just wet my hands again. That one's a little big. There. There. Big. Alright, there. Okay, so as you can see, it doesn't really take that long. Form those. Whoop, there's got a funny shape to it. So I'm just kind of rolling them around, okay? Don't work them too much, all right? Try not to. The heat from your hands can start to melt out the fat. And they'll end up being dry. So just be, kind of mindful of that. Just form it real quick. And then move on to the next one. Okay. There. If I had a little scooper, I would use that, but I don't have a little scooper, so I'm just kind of eyeballing them. With my hand again. So as you can see at a glance, they're close to all the same size. All right. There. All right, once these are made, we're going to throw them in the refrigerator while we clean up. So, two more. That. We got a tiny one here, so I'm just gonna there. Okay, there we go. All right. Wash out my hands. Okay. Quick little sanitize. All right. So we'll now take these and I'm going to place these in the refrigerator while I clean up. And then once I get cleaned up, we will start the tomato sauce that we need. We want to do the tomato sauce next.